Liverpool make Champions League football as Sunderland make Europa League football alongside Bournemouth, and the Europa Conference League goes to Brighton. But of course, the big story of the day was down at the bottom of the table, where Tottenham managed to survive despite West Ham winning. West Ham also won today, but it wasn't enough because they had to rely on a result from Everton. And Everton couldn't get the job done. Spurs survive. West Ham are down into the Championship for next season. It draws to a close what has been a very intriguing Premier League campaign for the 2025-26 season. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to another video. Today's live stream is going to all be about the Premier League season. The final day of the Premier League season. We'll do more of a review later on in the week, but it's going to be about the final day of the season. And the final day of the season obviously had big implications, mainly down at the bottom of the table. Like I mentioned before, it was all eyes on Tottenham, all eyes on West Ham as well, as those two teams were battling down at the bottom. There was the race for Europe that was very well and truly on. That ended quite surprisingly, I guess a lot of people might say. And then, of course, Liverpool securing the Champions League. Were Aston Villa going to fall into that fifth spot? And if they did, who was going to fall into the sixth spot to maybe get Champions League football for next season? There was a lot going on today. Of course, Arsenal are currently having their trophy parade as we speak. Obviously, they would have liked it at home, but they were at Selhurst Park today. Man City said farewell to Pep Guardiola. Liverpool said farewell to, at the very least, Mo Salah and Andy Robertson. Who knows? There may be a couple more people leaving the football club come the transfer window, of course. Mainly players such as Curtis Jones, such as potentially Alisson Becker, maybe even a Joe Gomez, maybe even a lot more. Either way, not great. But those are the facts as we know it so far. We're going to talk about Liverpool mainly. Obviously, being a Liverpool fan, we're going to talk about Liverpool getting Champions League football. We're going to talk a bit about Spurs as well. And if there's anything else you guys want to talk about as well, as always with these videos and live streams, make sure you are hitting the like button. Make sure you are subscribing as well. And make sure, of course, if you are new, that you're hitting, I already said the subscribe button. And make sure you're getting involved in the chat as well. If you're wanting to participate and have a conversation about anything and everything to do with the final day of the season, really do appreciate you all being here. I hope you're all doing well. We've already got a couple of you in the chat already. Big up Ballum, who's already here. There's too many draws this season. I mean, that's just one of the many issues that Liverpool have got right now. So, yeah, you are right. Too many draws. It was a predictable one, by the way. I did predict it. It was one of the only ones I got right, by the way, in this week's predictions. I did actually predict a 1-1 draw. So I got it right. As much as I'm annoyed that we got it right. But there we have it. Big up Don, who's in the building. Says Henderson deserves a pitch send-off. Absolutely. Don't think he got one, did he? Which was a shame. But it was nice to see him back at Anfield today. Vladimir saying kit with Champions badge from Liverpool Club Shop. Yeah, for the final time, we wore this badge. The memories will still be there. Might have to cling on to those memories for a long time if things go the way that I'm imagining. Downwards and depressing. I'm good, bro. Hope you're doing good yourself, my dude. I hope you're doing well yourself. West Ham won. David Moyes let Tottenham win. May have a personal vendetta against his former club. Everton did not look like they were doing anything today. They were so poor, Everton. They really were. They are, honestly, and I'm not saying this to be banter, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Liverpool fan. Everton are genuinely the most useless football club in existence. They stopped Man City from winning a Premier League title. Well, potentially, you never know. Like, they at least derailed their title charge, shall we say. And then they go and do not even lay a glove on Tottenham. They don't even lay a glove on that Tottenham side. They are genuinely absolutely useless. That on top of the fact that they have not won a trophy in, what is it now, over 30 years. Genuinely the most useless football team on the planet. Genuinely. Like, pointless. Absolutely, completely pointless. Like a broken pin. Pointless. I don't like the new kit. Are they right? Today's kit, can I just ask before we move on? Today's kit, I like the shirt. Are they genuinely the shorts? Are the shorts the genuine shorts? Because they look like this season's shorts. And it doesn't match. It doesn't go. You've got the kind of Liverpool shirt with like the white patterny bit. And the shorts don't match. So is that genuine or like I don't know. I don't know if they were the shorts, but it looked wrong. I like the shirt. Why don't you go for West Ham wins in your predictions? Because I didn't think they'd win. Simple as that. It's nothing against them. I just didn't think they'd win. I didn't even think they'd win today, and they surprised me. But there you have it. Got to show off the Champions badge to the Arsenal fans who do not have this. Not yet, anyway. They will next season. Unfortunately. And we only have ourselves and Manchester City to thank for that one. So good job, Arnie. Good job, Pep. Nice one, guys. Oh, dear. Big up Abdi's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Lovely to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Tottenham were lucky in some ways. Aston Villa away win and the getting a result against Man City for some reason, which give Arsenal the league. Yeah, Tottenham were kind of fortunate. They were lucky last year, but yeah, they might be back in a relegation battle next year. Who knows? Who knows what will happen with Spurs right now? Big up Ruse is in the building. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Lovely to have you here with us. Bear me 1 second. There we go. That's all there. So warm for the past few days and next few days. Talk soon. Be back later. Yeah, big up, bro. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated in this heat. But no, we're going to talk about Liverpool. We're going to talk about a little bit about Spurs as well, staying up. Liverpool did it. Liverpool obtained Champions League football. We made it into the Champions League for next season. Mission accomplished. The bare minimum. It was obviously going to be a very emotional day. It would have been perfectly captivated and capped off if Mo Salah's free kick had found the back of the net and not smacked against the post. That was so unfortunate. But again, he deserved more. He obviously deserved more. This season's been an absolute train wreck, and we won't get too much into how this season's been because not only is it repetitive, but I also want to kind of do that later on in the week. But yeah, overall, I would have loved it if it was to be Salah's final game, to have had more riding on it. I would have liked us to have been in a Champions League final where we could have had a genuine last game, or, you know, if the title race had gone down to the final game of the season and Liverpool was still in it, that would have been nice as well for him. But instead, no, the guy has to unfortunately go out on a bit of a whimper simply for the reason that this season's been a train wreck. Our manager's useless. I'm just bored. Of saying the same things over and over again. The main thing is that, you know, he did get a good send-off by the Liverpool crowd. The main thing is that, you know, they clapped him off. They did the same with Andy Robertson as well. And they both got a lovely send-off from the Anfield crowd. It wasn't about it wasn't obviously about anything more than that. It wasn't about agendas, or it wasn't about anything else. It was about giving two absolute legends that have given us everything these past several years their perfect send off. And it wasn't perfect, but it was a very, very good send off nonetheless. And we move on. From this point forward, we are no longer a club that has Mo Salah or Randy Robertson in our ranks. It was a bit of a throwback a little bit in the first half. It looked like Mo Salah was back to being a nuisance to opposition defenders. He looked dangerous at times. Could have, and probably should have, been a bit less greedy. I know he wanted his final goal at Anfield. I know that obviously there was a moment in the first half where I think he just needs to play it to Curtis Jones, and it was either Jones or Szoboszlai. I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it was Jones, but it could have been Szoboszlai, and he just doesn't. And it's a bit annoying, but in the end, he gets his assist at least. So at least he got something on the board to kind of round out his to round out his Liverpool career. Liverpool couldn't hold on, of course. Kevin Schade, equaliser. And then they could have won it right at the end, Brentford, and that would have been a very historic goal for them, because obviously that would have let them get into Europe for next season, which would have been massive. Massive, considering that Brentford lost their manager, lost two of their star players, lost their skipper last season, got taken over by a manager who previously was a set-piece coach. And yet that Brentford team had a brilliant season. They finished 8th. They finished just a few goals outside of the top 8. They would have got European football had it not been for goal difference. And that is where a set-piece manager has taken a Brentford side that lost a lot last summer. Now, in comparison to a Liverpool side that spent 450 million last summer, came into it as the defending Premier League champions, to finish 5th on 60 points, just scraping through into the top 5 and for Champions League football for next season, with one of the lowest, if not the lowest, points tally that has ever needed to be accumulated to acquire Champions League football for next season. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing. It's also kind of embarrassing that Aston Villa finished above us. It's kind of embarrassing that Manchester United finished above us. But that is what has happened this year, people. That is what has happened this year. And the thing I'm clinging on to, as I've said, for the most of this last run-in of the season, is that maybe the tide will start changing in terms of the narrative and story behind Arne Slot staying. It looks like he's going to stay. I've been hoping and praying for a while that won't be the case. I've been hoping and praying for a while that the guy will definitely be leaving in the summer. I've been hoping and praying that all this talk that he will be here in the summer, he will be here to oversee the transfer window, and he will be here going into the start of next season, will be a case of just putting it out there, because they're not going to tell him he's gone. They're not going to tell him he's going to be sacked. And, you know, they're going to try and unite everybody together for the last run-in to acquire Champions League football, to obtain our final and last bare minimum goal of this season, before then dropping the bombshell that, look, it's not been good enough. You've not been good enough. It's time we go our separate ways. I'm hoping that that's still the case. I'm hoping and praying that that is still the case. However, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't know. I can't put myself through another season of watching this football again next year. I really can't. The football is boring. The football is dire. He comes out on the second to last press conference of the season and states he knows how to fix it. Well, if you know how to fix it, why didn't you do it earlier on in the season? It was only in October you came out and basically said, I don't know how to fix it. We've got all these problems and I don't know how to fix it. So over the course of the past several months, you've learned how to fix it, have you? Fantastic. Well, we've not seen any evidence of that, by the way. Not seen any evidence whatsoever that you know exactly what you're doing, you know how to fix it or anything along those lines. But yeah, he apparently knows how to fix it, which is brilliant. In the final press conference of the season, the guy comes out and basically says he needs to find a style that suits him and suits the players. Well, it's not like you've had 450 million on players and an entire season's worth of time to start putting in a system and a style that works. Oh, no, wait, you have. You've had an entire season, you've had 450 million spent, and you still can't decide upon a system and style that works. Right, let's just waste all of our time then, shall we? We've wasted a year of Salah's career. What was the point of tying him down to a 2-year deal on 400k a week if this was going to be what you were planning to do this year? What was the point of doing it to Van Dijk as well? Because guess what? If you're still going to be here next year, I can't see things improving that much. So it's going to be the same next year as it was this year, which means, again, we've wasted 2 years then of Van Dijk's career, as well as everybody else that's in amongst this this current regime of players. I don't get it. I don't know where we're supposed to go from this point if Slot is remaining as our manager. I really, really don't. I see a club that is in decline. I see a club that is just not great at all. Just not fun to watch, not entertaining, not exciting. A team that basically has the same script written out for them. It has the same script written out for them every single week because this manager doesn't do anything to change it. And if he does, by the way, if he does change it, it's the same changes every week. You know, he'll change personnel. Maybe he'll drop this player. Maybe he'll drop that player. Maybe he will. Maybe he might change the formation a little, but the end game is still the same. The end game is still the same. Changes it here, changes it there. If he doesn't change it, it doesn't matter. It's still the same. The guy is out of ideas, out of his mind, out of his depth. I don't know, man. I really, really don't know. I really don't know. I genuinely don't know. It's terrible. It's god awful. Where do we get up to in the chat? Big up Ross, who's in the building. Just says LFC with a heart. Love that. Big up my guy. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here. I'm gonna just butcher the name, so I do apologize. Zalazo, Zalazar, Zalado. I really do apologize, bro. If you've got a better name that you want to go by, hit it up in the chat. Could have, would have. I only deal with absolutes. Obviously, a throwback to James Redmond, of course. I think that's his name. I want to say that's his name, but I could be wrong. I do apologize if I got that name wrong as well. Don says, I can't watch this turgid football next season. I'm with you, bro. I am so with you, bro. I am so with you. Like, again, it's exactly what we just talking about in terms of he comes out, he says he's got an idea of how to change things. Well, you clearly have not displayed that at any point during this season. Everybody was on side today because they're all doing it for Mo Salah and Andy Robertson. Like, you're not going to have that every single week. Similarly to how at the beginning of the season, a lot of people were putting our grit and our mentality down to winning games late on because we were doing it for a certain Diogo Jota. Can't just keep on relying on emotion and feelings. That's the only reason why today we were all on side and we're all on board. Just doing it for Mo, doing it for Robbo, doing it for maybe some of the other players as well that are potentially playing their final game in a Liverpool shirt in this very fixture. I mean, Alisson made a brilliant save in the first half. Again, throwback to just prime and peak Alisson Becker. But again, it's not good football. It's not good to watch. It really isn't. And especially when you're not getting results as well. I mean, we limped over the finish line. We limped over the finish line to get this spot. Limped. If Bournemouth had held on right with the last kick of the game against Man City on Tuesday night, we could have been in a hell of a lot more danger today than what we actually were. We limped over the finish line. 450 million spent. One of the lowest points tallies to acquire Champions League football in God knows how long. And we limped over the finish line. That's not good enough. That is really, really not good enough. As Mo Salah said himself, obtaining Champions League football is the bare minimum a club like Liverpool should be attaining season in, season out. That is the bare minimum. Shouldn't be like that. And the football to boot is just not good enough. I'm so glad the season is over. I feel really subdued. Big up, Dino. You're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. You're 100% right, bro. I'm so glad the season's over. I'm so glad the season's over. I mean, this season could get worse. This season could get worse if Arsenal win the Champions League next Saturday. That could happen, and that could get even more worse. So if that happens, then fantastic. Like, I'm going to be throwing myself in the ocean or something. I don't know. It's poor. It's so poor. I did wait a minute. Raymond says Salah should have left the club last season. His celebration would have been bigger. Big up, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I really wish his celebrations would have been bigger. I really wish his celebrations would have been better. But the reality is that sometimes you don't get the proper send off you deserve. I mean, look at the way that Steven Gerrard was sent off into the sunset. I mean, it's not as bad as that day was. That day was god awful, losing 6-1 to Stoke, but it's still not great. Still not great for someone who deserves so much more and so much better. Sorry, this Hungarian language don't speak. It's all good, bro. I just opened up Google Translate. So appreciate that, though. Appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining me. Scotty here, Man United fan, clearly. Glory, glory, Man United. The Reds go marching on. We'll see how you do next season. We'll see how you do next season with doing 2 games a week. We'll see. Europa League group phase for Sunderland is remarkable. Big up, Marco's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. And yeah, I mean, Sunderland have had an unbelievable campaign. I mean, it's a shame that obviously, I mean, I know Arteta's going to get the Manager of the Year award, and it's understandable as to why. He's won the league. He's finally got across the finish line, whatever. But there's been so many good performances from managers this season. Andoni Iraola at Bournemouth, fantastic. Unai Emery at Aston Villa, I think, deserves credit as well. Keith Andrew at Brentford, like I mentioned earlier. And, of course, the Sunderland manager, who has done remarkable. I know people will say, well, he spent over 100 million. We've also seen a lot of relegation-threatened sides spend a lot of money, and they still manage to not get over the finish line and get to Premier League safety. So, yeah, we've seen it. We've experienced it. But those three managers in particular, outside of Arteta, deserve immense amounts of praise. I'll also throw in, by the way, Daniel Farke at Leeds. Daniel Farke at Leeds, I think, has done a terrific job as well. I feel like he deserves a shout out as well and a mention. But yeah, they've all been brilliant in my opinion. They've all been really, really good. Bruno is what Scotty says here. Broke the assist record today. If that is allowed to stand, by the way, if that goal actually is allowed to stand as as his assist, because it did sort of look like it was an own goal. I think it has been allowed to stand. But that makes it at least a couple more now dodgy goal decisions for Bruno assists. It seems like someone was really, really wanting him to break that assist record this year. The Liverpool goal that Sesko scored that he assisted from. Now this one. Seems like someone really wanted him to break it. Mo Salah should have broke it last season. The likes of Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez have blood on their hands for not getting Mo Salah that assist record last season. That goal and assist record, by the way. Not just assist record, the goal and assist record. Which is much better. Come on, bro. No need for that. Mo cheap shot Salah. Again, uncalled for. 5-0 for PSG. Entirely plausible. Okay, I would give Arsenal one corner. 5-1. PSG destroy teams. Look what they did in last year's final. And I hope you're right, bro. I hope you are right in what you're saying. I've already started seeing a lot of Arsenal fans online talking absolute nonsense. I said they'd be unbearable before they won everything. And now they've actually won something. They're going to be even more unbearable. And they've already started. Don't give them another reason to be taking their unbearableness to a whole new extreme. If they win the Champions League as well, turn off your social medias, turn off everything until the beginning of next season, because they are going to be absolutely even more unbearable than they are before. Like, those fans have already started doing some crazy and stupid things. So, yes, it's only going to get worse from here, unfortunately. But yes, PSG need to deliver them a reality check, and a hard reality check at that. Mustang for Geordie fans, that rival has actually done better with limited team, and yet Newcastle started in the Champions League this year. Howe needs to go. He never gets it right. It's been a hard year for Newcastle, to be fair. The whole Isak thing in the summer, plus, them not getting the players that they wanted, finding out that they're not as big as what they thought they were, in terms of everybody just came along and cherry-picked who Newcastle wanted. But then again, their fans kind of deserve that, because, again, their fans are running their mouths in the summer, and they got absolutely humbled. And they've got humbled this season, and they've got humbled by their biggest rivals, who have spent one season back in the Premier League and have acquired European football at the first time of asking. So, Yeah, fair play. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind Newcastle. But the way they started off the season, the whole Voltameda thing with Isaac, comparing them to, and yeah, it's just, yeah, it's just something that obviously needed to be, it needed to be done. It needed to be done. As far as what we're concerned with Newcastle. So we shall see. We shall see. We need Man United. Anderson or Tonali, Mateus Fernandez or Chouameni, Alex Scott or Edison. Plus, I'd go for Hackney and Junior Krupe, is what Scotty says. I mean, it's not a bad list you've drawn up there. It's not a bad list at all. I don't know who's going to be obtainable in that list. Alex Scott, definitely. Hackney, definitely. Krupe, maybe. Edison, it looks like you are probably going to definitely make a move for Edison, so that makes sense. Anderson, I reckon he might have other options elsewhere. Tonali, I like Tonali. Really, really like Tonali. I prefer Bruno Fernandes at Liverpool myself, but I do like Tonali. I don't know about Tonali. I reckon Arsenal could go back in for Tonali, you know. I reckon Arsenal could. And Mateus Fernandes, well, now that West Ham's been relegated, it might be easy to get Mateus Fernandes. Chouameni, depends on the Real Madrid situation, of course. But it's not a bad list you've drawn up there. I'm not going to lie. It's not a bad list you've drawn up there at all. Only banter me, you'll be back without a doubt. I know it is. And then, you know, we've bantered your lot for years. So, you know what? One season, we get it back. It's all good. It's not all good. It's embarrassing we finished below you this year. It's absolutely embarrassing. You were 15th. Last year. This time last year, you just lost the Europa League final. You were down in the mud. We were laughing at you. We were the Premier League champions. And now this year, we achieved the same thing. Only difference is we're 2 places below you. But we achieved essentially the same thing. But, yeah. You still finished above us, which is embarrassing. We need to strengthen midfield competition from Man City for Anderson. Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, the midfield is obviously going to be your key area to support, because you're going to be playing more games next season. It means more rotation. And from what I've noticed this season, when Amorim left, was you brought Kobbie Mainoo back into the fold. And Kobbie Mainoo has been exceptional, I think, this season. I think he's been brilliant this season. To keep that mentality, to keep the drive going, and to be like, no, there is going to be a new dawn, a new horizon. I'm going to outlast this manager. I'm going to stay. And hopefully the next manager knows what a talent I am and trusts in me enough to make that midfield spot my own. And I think Kobbie Mainoo's done really, really well in that. And I rate Kobbie Mainoo as a rival. I do rate Kobbie Mainoo, and I have done since he burst onto the scene. And what I will say is that you don't have a lot of midfielders like him, especially at your club. So you need to get some rotation for him, because you look a different team when he's in the team than when he's out the team. You look a different team when he's out the team. You look average. Was it the Leeds game? I think it was the Leeds game. I think you lost to Leeds. And maybe Newcastle? It was one of those two, or maybe it was even both of those games. I don't remember. But it was either one of Michael Carrick's first games that you lost. You looked a completely different team because Mainoo wasn't there. the way that he's press resistant, the way he keeps the ball, the way he just keeps things ticking over. And of course, the guy can pop up with a big goal when it matters most, like begrudgingly against us a few weeks ago after you basically gifted us 2 goals to get back into the game. But he pops up with big goals as well. I think the guy's a proper talent. And I think if he continues on his journey that he's on, I reckon next season could be a big year for Kobbie Mainoo. I reckon it could be a massive, massive year for Kobbie Mainoo. And plus, he's learning from one of the best in his types of positions. Michael Carrick, vast experience, played under Sir Alex Ferguson. He's one of the most underrated midfielders, certainly in English football history, but certainly in the Premier League as well. I think the guy could learn a lot. And, you know, we didn't get to see it this season because for whatever reason, Amorim just did not understand the talent that he had in his possession. But next season, like I say, Michael Carrick unleashes the guy. I think losing Casemiro is going to be big in terms of leadership and influence. And, of course, big goals again. But, like you say, if you go and get someone like a Tonali, someone like an Anderson, someone like a Mateus Fernandez. Obviously, I think you'll need probably about 2 or 3 midfielders. That could be a real step up for Man United next season. I don't like it. I don't want it to happen. I'm hoping Carrick crashes and burns. And to be honest with you, I kind of think he does maybe crash a little bit next season. I'm not saying completely. I'm just saying that maybe you hit top 7 rather than top 5. I don't know yet. I'm reserving judgment, but obviously it depends on how your summer's going to be. Yeah, I think Kobbie Mainoo next year could be massive. Could be massive for Man United. We're back. Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not. Yeah, he's a real talent. I'll give you that. I think if City won the Prem this year, Pep would have stayed for sure. But if you were going to lose the league to your apprentice, Arteta, then there has to be consequences and call it quits. Still not a bad way to go out on, though. A Carabao Cup and FA Cup double. It's not a bad way to leave the club, is it, for Pep? Like, it's not bad at all. I just think the Premier League's passed him by. I think there's a new style that everybody's trying to adopt, and it just doesn't suit Pep. I just don't think this current brand of football suits Pep at all. I think it's probably the right way to call it. I think it's the right time for him to move on. I think the Premier League's moved on from his style of play to a more simpler style of play, shall we say. Yeah, I think it's probably the right time to move on. I think it is probably the right time to move on for him. I agree. 3 midfielders, 1 centre back, and a left back and a goal scorer. Where do you think Liverpool will strengthen? Oh, all over the pitch. We bought Jeremy Jacquet, so that's a centre back covered. We should hear about the Canate situation imminently. I still think, depending on the Gomez situation as well, we might need 1 defender, 1 more centre back. Jacquet comes in, fantastic. It's difficult because we don't know about Leone. We don't know if Leone's going to come back and he's going to hit the ground running and he's going to continue his progression or not. That big injury was horrible. So there's the Leone question mark. Gomez is never fit, so the Gomez question mark is always going to be there. Canate, kind of useless this season, but again, I don't know. about Canate, and I don't know about his contract situation either. Van Dijk's not exactly getting any younger, so I do think we will need at least one more centre back. The left back situation with Robertson leaving, I can potentially see Liverpool cheaping out and maybe convincing Tsimikas to come back and stay for a year. So he'll be our second choice, and Kirkez will be our main left back. I don't like it. I don't want that to necessarily happen, but I could see Liverpool cheaping out on an option where that would be the case. We might need a new goalkeeper if Alisson leaves as well, unless we are going to trust Yaros to be our second choice and Mamadashvili to be our first. So there's a lot of unanswered questions there. Our right back situation, neither one of them can stay fit for longer than 5 games. So there's a couple of question marks there over both Jeremy Frimpong and Connor Bradley. Our midfield situation, McAllister's legs have seemingly gone, and the likewise can be potentially said about Ryan Gravenberch. So we definitely need a DM anyway. So we definitely need a defensive midfielder, but we might need another central midfielder as well. We're obviously going to need a right winger because we don't have one at the football club. Jeremy Frimpong does not qualify as a right winger, so we're definitely going to need a right winger. I don't want to see Cody Gakpo in a Liverpool shirt ever again, so we're definitely going to need a left winger to upgrade on Gakpo and to also be there to sort of, help the development, shall we say, of Rio Ngamoa. And then we might need another striker because the Ekatike injury is at least going to take him out for half a season, maybe even longer. And there's no guarantee he's going to come back as the same player that he was when he left, because this injury has been known to cut careers short or to cut players down from reaching their potential. So I for one, potentially see it being a very active transfer window. Lots of incomings, lots of outgoings. But I don't necessarily think it matters because I don't know, because that last season was the same. And look where we are now. So I don't know if it will matter. You reckon West Ham will come straight back up? If they keep Nuno and they keep a few of their key players, then yes. I think that if they keep the manager, they will. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. It looks like Mateus Fernandes is going to be very much wanted by a lot of Premier League clubs. I imagine a few clubs might be sniffing around Jared Bowen as well. Maybe that Tati Castellanos as well. Maybe one or two other players like Max Kilman or maybe a Mavropanos. There's a few players there that I think a lot of Premier League clubs will be sniffing around. So it might be a difficult summer for West Ham, but I would reckon that they could be coming straight back up for next year. I reckon that they could. Do you think that Southampton's punishment was too harsh? Dude, even in Online Soccer Manager, there is a spy option. It's not the biggest. Sorry, the game thing got me. Biggest sin to get some intel point deduction, maybe, but this severe. Yeah. Look, it's one of those situations that's like this doesn't happen obviously very regularly. Fact is that it's just ethical to be like this, and kind of, I mean, I'm not exactly too sure what you can get from training that you can't get from watching them in match days. If anything, just change your own approach. Not only that as well, but how crap of a spy are you that you can't even spy properly and you get caught? You've got to be a crap spy to get caught, especially by a football club. Like, you have to be a crap spy to just be there out in the open. Why? Like, I, I don't know. It's crazy. No, I think the right punishment was made. It's daft. It's so daft. It's so stupid. And if I was a Southampton fan, I'd be absolutely raging at the manager. I'd be like, what the hell are you doing? Why did you risk that? Apparently, you can do it in Germany. That's at least what some people have said. But, you know, there's a reason why no one does it over here. Don't try and start a trend or something. It's not like it's, again, it's not as if it's a common thing. So I don't know. It's so dumb. So dumb. But yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised that the punishment was quickly dished out. I thought they would take their time with it. I thought they would go on a few weeks, few months maybe, and then do something about it. But they actually got it over and done with pretty quickly, which was a bit crazy. They don't normally do that. What's the next question? Would you take Diamande from Sporting? I think he's a good player, but I don't know. I think he's still a little rough around the edges. I like him, but I think there might be better out there. Do you have faith in the current manager? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I've got no faith. I've got no faith in the current manager. I've got no faith in any player that he's going to bring in this summer because I saw fantastic players come in last summer and we've done nothing with them. I have no faith in this guy. I've got no idea what he's rambling about in press conferences and interviews. I've got no idea what he is going to do next season other than flop. I don't want him to flop. I want him to prove me wrong. I want the guy to prove me wrong 120%. I do. I'm hoping that by this time next year, I'm sat here and I'm apologizing to Slot for ever doubting him. But the evidence presented in front of me as it currently stands right now is that this guy will not and cannot get the job done. He is out of his depth, out of his mind, and out of ideas. And I don't think it matters who he brings in the summer. He could go out there and he could have a 10 out of 10 summer. He could bring in a new left back. He could bring in 2 new centre backs. He could bring in the world's best defensive midfielder. He could bring in another central midfielder. He could bring in a right winger that is going to get goals and assists and replace what Salah is leaving in that team. And I still would sit here and go, the brains behind the operation is not good enough. We've got the operation, we've got all the components, but the brains behind it is not going to do anything with it. We've got all the instruments. We've got all the best players of the best instruments. But if you haven't got the conductor that can put it all together, the music is going to sound terrible. Our conductor right now is terrible. The music that he's going to play next season is going to be the same boring, predictable, dire football that we have played this season. I'm not here for it. I think, like us, mate, hopefully should be a busy transfer window. I mean, definitely for your lot definitely need to beef up your team. You need to beef up your team if you're going to be playing 2 games a week. So you're definitely going to be in for a busy window. Obviously, it makes it interesting with obviously having a World Cup. There are a few players that are obviously not going to be at the World Cup, so transfer business can go on in the background. But there are going to be a fair few that are going to be going to the World Cup. That, again, it could make players. It could mean that players' stock rises and their interest grows. So having the World Cup this summer is going to be very interesting, to say the least. We shall see. Yeah, most online soccer manager games literally have a spy feature that you can use for coins. So I'm going to say I've never seen that in Football Manager. So you just get reports and things from your scouts. So yeah, I've never seen that in Football Manager, but fair play. Again, it's a game and not the real thing, so it is what it is. Italy spied on Bosnia too, big time in qualification, yet they still lost and no punishment. Was allegedly, now I'm saying allegedly because I have not actually fact checked this. I just saw this scrolling through videos. Apparently, the guy who was the manager of Southampton that organized the spying thing also apparently spied on France during the 2014 World Cup in Germany's build-up and preparation to their game against France in that 2014 World Cup. Is that true? Is it right? I don't know. And apparently he did the same thing again. I can't remember who it was for. I think it was for some German team. I think he was coaching some German team at the time. And I think he did the same thing then, and they just brushed it off as nothing. I could be wrong. Scouting, spying, grey area, just call it scouting. Maybe they could have got away with it. I don't know. Gakpo is staying, right? I hope not. I absolutely hope not. He doesn't deserve it. The guy's absolutely useless. When you play Gakpo, you're playing with 10 men from the off. Like, Gakpo is absolutely terrible. Like, watching Mo Salah and Gakpo today, especially, you wouldn't be shocked if you said, oh, Gakpo's a 34-year-old and Salah's the 26-year-old. You wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. But you are more shocked that Gakpo is the 26-year-old and Salah is the 34-year-old. Just how it is. Watch along for the UCL final. Show champions patch to camera. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Andrew Robertson is leaving. Salah leaving. And there could be some more as well. Likes of Alisson, maybe Joe Gomez, Gakpo, like I say, Chiesa. There could be some more on the horizon. Who knows? I'm just hoping that I get a message any second now from Fabrizio saying he's gone. Because let's put it this way, people. The interesting thing over the last few days or so has been that the tide is seemingly switching. Not strong enough yet to say there's been a massive switch, but there's been a lot of people that have started to jump on the bandwagon that he will actually be leaving. FSG have had a change of heart. FSG have decided to change their minds and are now going to be looking at replacements for Arne Slot in the summer. That is what obviously the news and the reports have been suggesting for the past few days, which is completely different to the news that we were getting a few weeks ago, which was, of course, Slot is staying. He's going to be here in the summer. He's going to be taking charge of the transfers and all of that kind of stuff. And they're looking ahead to next season already. I don't know if it's just talk. I don't know if it's just Liverpool fans putting stuff out there in the hope that given enough strength and given enough kind of momentum behind it, that it might force FSG's hand a little bit in sacking him. I don't know. I genuinely don't know, but I'm hoping and I'm praying he will not be here next season. I'm hoping that that's going to be the case. By the way, they mentioned this. No mention close to opening. Liverpool new club shop in London. I went on Thursday last week. A little basic. Fair enough. I completely forgot. I bought Liverpool kits, same you were wearing last week, Monday with Champions patch. Only reason is the gold winners patch. Again, memories. Had to fetch Southampton manager. Well, I've done well with West Ham in my football manager career, so why not? Did Villa take it easy on Spurs a few match days ago? Still can't believe Spurs won that. I would say it was a convenient time to play Villa for Spurs. Because if you remember, they rotated and they rotated a lot. I would say it was a convenient time to play Villa at that point. Villa, obviously, in amongst the Europa League semi-final battle with Nottingham Forest. They just lost, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, they had just lost 1-0 to Forest in the first leg. They put out a rotated side for the game against for the game against Tottenham. Tottenham took advantage. They won that game, but Villa went on to beat Forest and then ultimately went on to win the Europa League. So massive for Unai Emery's side, and the sacrifice paid off. The sacrifice paid off because not only did they get Champions League football via qualifying through the top 5, but they also ended up winning the Europa League anyway. So the sacrifice paid off massively for Aston Villa. Cody Gakpo used to be clutch, right? I mean, last season he was okay, but this season he's been an utter shambles. He's been an utter shambles this season. The guy can't do anything. He genuinely can't do anything. Like, he's playing on the left or he's playing up front, and the guy's useless. He genuinely is. Almost forgot we had Federico Chiesa. We will sell him. Yeah, it's unfortunate because the guy deserved a lot more than what he actually got. But that's on his slot for you. I'm gonna do a keep, sell, loan tier list for Liverpool players at some point. We'll see how that goes. Speaking of spies, what about German spy Tuchel picking Spence and Madueke and leaving Gibbs White and Palmer at home? The Gibbs White one is strange. I'm okay with Palmer because Palmer's been useless. But Palmer might actually be all right in an England shirt. I don't know. Here's the thing about the England stuff. I used to be that guy that used to be like, well, they're not in form. He's not in form. Why is he being picked when he's been useless all season? He's been sat on the bench. He's been injured. He's been doing this. He's been doing that. I've been that guy that's been like that for many years. And only recently have I turned around and gone, well, it's international football. You don't really get a choice of who you get in your squad. You can't transfer like you do in club level. So you've got to make do with what you have. You've got to basically hope that you've got players that will fit your system. And if he's got players that, if Tuchel's got a way of playing that requires a certain specification, a certain criteria of players that will fit into that system, then he's got to go with those players. You can't just pick based on reputation, or you can't just pick based on form. He's got to pick based on, can this guy play my system? He may be banging form right now, but can he play in my system? Because the system he plays in for his club might be different to my system. And if he can't, leave him at home. Otherwise, he's just taking up a spot for someone who might be better suited. For too long, especially England fans, we've been crying out for all the best players to be on the pitch at the same time. And look where that gets us. Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate wanted Trent on at the same time as Kieran Trippier and Kyle Walker. And what did that result in? Having 3 right backs on the pitch at the exact same time. Can't happen. So what does now Tuchel do? Tuchel looks at the England side and goes, right, this player might be banging form, but I don't think he fits into my system. So I'm going to leave him. I'm going to bring someone who might not exactly play very well all season, but I know will play for me in this setup, in this system. The Gibbs White one, I think, is worth taking a hit on, and I think is worth bringing into the side. I don't know why he hasn't. But for a lot of the others, I can at least make that argument that he might not see them fitting into his side. I don't think you can play international football based off of form, because the form you show at one club, you might not show on an international stage. The same way that some players look amazing playing for one club and then they get transferred to another club and then they look like a complete shadow of what they used to be. Florian Wirtz. Sorry, I just had to get that out there. I love Florian Wirtz. Don't get that. I love Florian Wirtz. But there's no doubt about it. He looks completely different when he's playing for Germany or Bayer Leverkusen than he has for Liverpool. So that's my argument to it. And I know it's not popular, and I know a lot of people will be like, oh, no, this guy should have gone and that guy should have gone. And I'm sure that if England do go out at some stage, it will all come back down to squad selection, and Tuchel will come under heavy fire, and it might even end up costing him the England job in general. I mean, maybe looking for another England manager very, very soon. But it might be a stroke of genius. It might be a stroke of genius from Tuchel to not select the best players in form, but to select the best players that are right for his setup, his style, and the way that he wants to play. That might be it. Aston Villa will say they had a successful season because they won the UEFA Cup, a trophy from their progress under Unai Emery. Yeah, congratulations to Aston Villa on doing that. Another team with the word Villa in the name for Emery to have succeeded with. The only team he's not succeeded in the Europa League with, Arsenal. Interesting, that, isn't it? Marco will be intrigued to see how Marco Rose goes at Bournemouth. Some say they'll be in the Champions League because Aston Villa win the Europa League. I think the only way that would have happened is if Aston Villa had a loss today and Liverpool had won. Villa went down into 5th, and that means that 6th place would have got Champions League. But because Villa won and Liverpool drew, I mean, Villa won anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered what Liverpool had done. But because Villa won, obviously they stay in 4th, and that means that 6th place gets Europa League rather than Champions League. I don't know, though, if that can change if Arsenal win the Champions League. If Arsenal win the Champions League, I don't know if that changes. I don't think it does, because I feel like I would have heard something by now if it does. But I do find it so stupid how Aston Villa can win the Champions League. Sorry, can win the Europa League, go into the Champions League for next season by qualifying through the cup, through winning the cup. But then they also qualify through winning the league through the league phase as well, and we don't get an extra place. That I find dumb. Because here's the other thing as well. If Palace win their Europa Conference League final, they go into the Europa League as well. So do we have 3 teams then in the Europa League next season, or does one of those teams get dropped out into the Europa Conference? I don't know. I don't know how it works, but it's so dumb that Villa had to finish 5th, even though they were already in the top 5. It makes no sense. Like, 4th is still the same as 5th, essentially. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. It's so dumb. No Phil Foden for England, for example. I mean, he's been poor. He had a purple patch halfway through the season, and then he's been poor ever since. Jordan Henderson in England team, 11 of 100 caps. Again, excellent servant to club and country. It's like the German team around 2002 to 2012. They won a lot, and players like Podolski, Klose, Schweinsteiger were always picked, and no matter if they were playing at club level or not. I think that's the best way to go. I think that is the best way to go. You don't need maybe your best players, but you need players that are going to fit the system that you are wanting to play. Can I be honest with you, Fletch? This season as a Liverpool supporter has not been fun. On to next after the World Cup. Thomas, like England fans' passion, which is why he took the job. I think he's a good appointment. We'll see, obviously, what he can do in a major tournament because you don't gauge how good a manager is at an international level by beating the likes of Andorra and friggin' Faroe Islands every week, or whoever we've been playing. How can you make argument for Spence and Madueke? Again, it might just be system. It might just be systematic. It might be Spence being versatile enough that he can play right back and left back. It might be Madueke having pace. It might be Madueke playing off the left wing, playing off the right wing. It might be versatility. It might be systematic. I don't agree with the Madueke one. The Madueke one, he's useless. He's absolutely useless. And I know also I'm like, well, he won a Premier League title. Look at that. Like, don't mean he's not useless. There have been many people that have won Premier League titles who have been frigging useless. Like, Madueke is terrible. Simple as that. He is absolutely terrible. But yeah, here we are. Ivan Toney deserved. Saudi slow-paced league. Other managers of countries still pick their players who play in Saudi, no issue, like Kante, etc. I was trying to think them. Yeah, I mean, even Ronaldo still gets picked, doesn't he? And he's like 40 odd. But yeah, it's one of those things. I'm gonna just say I think it's just systematic. I don't think it is that. I don't think it's based on form, and it shouldn't be based on form because, like I say, you can be amazing, you can be great, and you could be playing really, really well, and yet it might not matter because you might still not make it because you don't fit in with what the club want, what the manager wants, what he needs, and I think that's the way it should be. Because if you put a manager in charge, the manager's not going to accommodate for the players he has. That's a club level thing. You do that at club level because at least you can transfer players in and out that you don't want, or maybe you can work with for a certain amount of time, but then you need to change. At international level, you can't really do that unless you have a deep enough talent pool to do that. You bring in the manager that's going to suit the players. You bring in the players that are going to suit the manager, which is why we've failed this season because we've apparently brought in the players that don't suit what the manager wants. And at the same time, the manager has completely changed what he was doing last year. So there's been a breakdown in communication somewhere. That means either the players are wrong or the manager's wrong. Maybe a little bit of both, but they're both wrong. I don't know. Sunderland are in the Conference League, I think. Let me just double check this. So Sunderland finished 7th. Now, according to Google, they are in a Europa League spot. Brighton are in a Conference League spot. Let me just double check because I think Romano put something. So, official. Bournemouth will play in the Europa League next season. Official. Sunderland will play in the Europa League next season. Romano stated that Sunderland will be in the Europa League next season. And official. Brighton qualify for the UEFA Conference League, which is going to be massive for Fabian Herzler's side. Even though they got slapped up today by Manchester United, it's still been a decent season for the Seagulls, and they will be in the Europa Conference League. Jed is because he's been in England squad before, so same group within the squad, etc. If this makes sense, again, might be because of that as well. Might be because of that as well. Brighton and Hove Albion are in the Europa, I think, or conference. I forgot now. Yeah, Brighton are in the conference. Europa for both Bournemouth and Sunderland, and they might be joined by Crystal Palace if they win their Europa League final. Sorry, the Europa Conference League final. My apologies. Maguire redeemed himself and deserved to be called up. Yeah, the Maguire one is an interesting call. I will admit that, especially from stuff like set pieces and stuff. Especially when this is the thing, when you've got Declan Rice, who is one of the best set piece takers in modern football right now, it is a bit crazy that we've not taken this big 6 foot giant, this big 6'5" absolute unit of a man to basically exploit set pieces with. It's crazy. That one, I will admit, is weird. No announcement of James Milner retiring one more season. That guy could go until he's 50. That guy would go until he's 50 and he'd still be in better shape than some 25-year-olds. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I would be surprised if James Milner plays on for one more season. He could do. The guy is an absolute unit. He's an absolute robot. Chelsea finishing 11th is shocking. It is poor, but you know what? And I said this in my video that I did about Xabi Alonso not long ago. I think it's a blessing in disguise them not getting European football for next season. I really, really do. Financially, not great. Don't get me wrong. Financially, that is poor. That is completely a travesty, right? But I think finishing outside of European football is a blessing in disguise for Chelsea. And I think that when you see it next season, Xabi Alonso comes in, he's got one game a week to focus on. He can put focus on the League Cup, he can put focus on the FA Cup, he can focus on getting them back into European football for next season through the league system. He'll only have one game a week, he'll have more time on the training ground, he'll have more say, he'll have more power, he will have the ability to say to his players, right, you're playing here today, you'll be playing next game, you'll be playing for about 30 minutes when I bring you on as a sub, this, that, and the other. There's going to be, you'd hope, a lack of interference from the people upstairs and the people in power. I think a blessing in disguise has been given to Chelsea by them not getting European football. I really, really do. I really, really do. And I'm going to be gutted when he eventually takes that Chelsea side by the scruff of the neck, turns them into something that is stronger, much more powerful, and we'll be here still with this bald-headed fraud, wondering why the hell we didn't sack him and get Alonso in the first place. So, we shall see. Yeah, Alonso does not have to go to Albania or Faroe Islands in midweek now. Just focus. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Doesn't need to do all of the traveling, doesn't need to do any of the focusing on any European competitions or anything like that. He just needs to focus on getting his team to play some good football and competitive football, build up their mentality, build them up as players, build up their promise and potential, train hard on the training pitch, drill after drill after drill after drill of learning his philosophy, learning his way of playing, and restoring Chelsea to something that they can at least be somewhat more proud of. Because, like I say, he's a very, very good, very promising young manager who I think, starting off completely fresh at Chelsea, will be a good thing. There'll be no pressure on him whatsoever. It would just be go and see what you can do. Go and see what you can do. The only downside is the Chelsea fans. If the Chelsea fans are not going to be patient, then all of what I just said will mean for nothing. The Chelsea fans need to be patient. If they've lost like their first 2 games of next season and they already want him out, they don't deserve anything. They don't deserve anything. But that is the possibility and potential what can happen at that is the possibility and potential of what can happen with Chelsea next season. for both good and for bad. Like I say, it'd be much, much better if Chelsea continue to fail. But it is going to be weird next season because I do like Xabi Alonso. Reese asks, what players you like for Everton? Now I know this one. I think Dewsbury Hall's all right. Dewsbury Hall's all right. That's it. That's essentially it. I don't know. I don't think about anyone else really. And Dies, meh. Everybody else, nah. I'm not really a massive fan, to be honest. And there's only really Dewsbury Hall. There's only Dewsbury Hall. Everton finishing 13th. It's mad to think that like a month or two ago, they were like 2 points behind us and were potentially going to overtake us when the Merseyside derby came in. But, oh well, that didn't happen. That would have been even more embarrassing, to be fair. I kind of wish they would have done, just to kind of put more stuff against Arne Slot. But didn't happen. Didn't happen. We'll wait and see now. As I say, hopefully he does get sacked. Fingers crossed he does. Just by the way, just before we wrap up, some quotes from Slot's final interview of this season. Let's find them here from Romano. Arne Slot on plans for next season. We brought in a lot of players last season. When they're available again, that will be a change. Not going to lie, dude, but there's only Ekatike that's out for a long time. I know we lost various players this season, but guess what? Everybody deals with injuries. And even when we did have those players fit and on the pitch, we still didn't look any better. So don't talk crap again for the millionth time this season. Like, seriously, don't talk crap. Absolute waffle from the guy. Because it's not going to be, because we played better. We don't play well at all, whether we've got these new players or not. It doesn't matter. It really, really doesn't matter. What else he said here? Every football club will sign one or two, and we will do that. We need everyone available, and then our results will get better. I'm sorry, but if you need the perfect scenario in order for you to be perfect and to be successful, you're not a very good manager. I'm sorry. We said the same thing about Arsenal for years. If you need the perfect scenario for Arsenal to go on and win trophies, you're not a very good manager. And I'm sorry, Slot, but if you need the perfect scenario once again, nah, you're not a very good manager. You're not a very good manager. You're going to deal with injuries. You're going to deal with suspensions. You're going to deal with people not being available at certain times. Frigging deal with it. Because guess what? When we had all them players, we still weren't great. And when we didn't have those players, we still weren't great. But you know what the best managers do? The best managers get us playing some really good football, even when we may not deserve it. Even when we may not look good. Even when we may lose a few players. Stop talking crap. And then, next question. One word to describe this season. Arne Slot replied with the word injury. Get this bald-headed fraud out of my club right now. Seriously. He's an absolute fraud. He's clinging on to the smallest, most pathetic excuses imaginable. Get him out of my club. clutching at straws, making excuses. I'm done with the guy. He doesn't deserve to be here. He really, really doesn't. I like Curtis. Yeah, I do like Curtis Jones, to be fair. Like, he's not amazing. He's not a world beater by any stretch of the imagination, but I think he's a decent little player for us. He's a decent little player for us. And it's such a shame that he's being forced out of this club by a manager who's got no idea what to do with him or a lot of other players like him. So done with the guy. But I like Jones. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Says, how you been? Glad the season is over. 12 wins in 33 games. If he stays, I am really worried. Really worried. I'm worried. Really worried. I couldn't agree more. I'm good, bro. I hope you are too. Thank you for joining me. I'm with you on that one, my dude. I really am. I don't understand how he can stay. I don't know how the guy can stay. I don't understand how he can stay. I don't know what the club want. I don't know who's going to be here at the club. I don't know what's happening with Richard Hughes. I don't know what's going to be happening with Michael Edwards. I don't know what's going to be happening even with many of the people involved with FSG at the top of the food chain. I don't know, because there's a lack of clarity. There's a lack of transparency right now at Liverpool Football Club. And it's all a chaotic mess. It needs to be sorted out ASAP. It really, really does. Start with a manager, work your way up. I don't know. But it's incredible, and we'll end on this note. It's incredible what difference a year can make. This time last year, we're all celebrating. We're all really happy. Big day ahead. Liverpool title parade. A wonderful season. A title-winning season. A momentous title season, given the fact it is our 20th league title. And then a year later, it is the polar opposite feeling. A club that doesn't, for the vast majority of it, not like the manager. We don't like what we're playing. We don't like the style. We have wanted this season to be over. Some of us since October. Some of us a little later than that. We have wanted this season to end for so long. And that shouldn't be the case. But it is. It's an embarrassment. It's been an embarrassment from start to finish. There's been very little to cheer about. There's been very little to be happy about. And even with the dawning of a new transfer window, even with the dawning of a new season next August, I'm not optimistic. I'm not excited. I'm potentially writing off next season before it's even begun. I want to get behind this team. I want to get behind the manager, and I want to be like, show me what you've got. I want to hope that Arne Slot proves me wrong. I want to hope that Arne Slot is sat here next year addressing the fans going, told you guys should have believed in me. Told you guys shouldn't have doubted me or anything along those lines. But based on the current evidence that is presented before my very eyes, I can't. I can't do any of that. And we're now sat here repeating ourselves and being bored out of our minds by watching Liverpool week in, week out. Thank God the season's over. Thank God the World Cup is almost here. And hopefully hopefully, we get to a point where FSG make the right decision and they give Arne Slot the boot, and we bring in a manager who has a connection with the fans, who has a connection with the players, who shows maturity and authority, and also plays entertaining, good football. That puts us in a position to compete. Not win all the time. We understand that you can't win all the time. You can't win every game. You can't win every competition. You can't win every year. We get that. But at least puts us in a position where we're competing. Where what we do in transfer windows, the players we bring in, the players we lose, it's all justified by what the players do on the pitch. Because we've not had that this season. It's been dreadful. It's been absolutely dreadful. One of the worst seasons in a long, long time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There are a lot of comparisons to be made between Arne Slot and Brendan Rodgers. Feels like it was the same thing again, but with slight differences. The differences being that where Brendan Rodgers failed to get across the finish line, Arne Slot succeeded. But everything beyond that is very, very similar again. And again, the standard of the Premier League, in my opinion, is not all there, not what it used to be. Competitive-wise, maybe. Standard, not very much. And again, another small difference from that stems from the fact that Liverpool managed to, by the skin of their teeth, secure Champions League qualification for next season. Whereas we've previously failed. It's not been great. It's not been great at all. But that is just the reality of the situation. Big up to each and every single one of you that has been in the building. Do me a massive favor, people. Smash the like button and subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for a great stream. And thank you for being here this season. Like I say, we've got a lot of stuff coming up. End of season content. We've got team of the season coming up, as well as a review on Liverpool season in general, review on the Premier League season in general. May do also a Liverpool squad sell or keep thing, as I mentioned earlier. That might be interesting and might go down with a bit of debate. So I'm intrigued to potentially explore that idea as well as obviously we're going to be looking ahead to the Champions League final coming up on Saturday, Arsenal versus PSG. Hopefully PSG can deliver those Arsenal fans the much needed reality check that they desperately need, but we shall see on that one. And then, of course, beyond that point, we've got World Cup content. We're going to be doing World Cup content as well as obviously transfer content and stuff like that. So do not go away. Appreciate you all being here. Thank you all so much for being here. Hit the like button and subscribe if you are new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And of course, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. I'll see you and speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.